Test, 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 test. Okay. Um, I don't really have an agenda of what to say. I'm just gonna record the camera and talk about what I'm thinking and what I feel. Um, Yesterday, my short film Irma won the audience award for best narrative short at the Virginia Film Festival, and I feel like, I mean, the whole story of how we arrived to that point is pretty crazy. But immediate feelings when when I found out the news, I was excited, of course, but I was initially concerned because I'll probably throw a picture of that on here. When we got the award, we won for best documentary short, or at least that's what the Laurel said. It was a mistake on Virginia's part at the end of the day. But initially, when I saw that news, I felt excited because they posted it. It was official. It was on their website, on Instagram, on IndieWire, and I saw the post. But when I saw the documentary short thing, I was like, "Is this a mistake?" So my excitement, I only shared it with my team initially. I threw it in the group chat, and I was just like, "Check this out." And I was excited. They were excited, of course. And then my editor Zach has did some digging, and what had happened is the person who actually won a documentary short was a film called Michaela's Voice, and we had one narrative short, but it was flipped on the website. So on the website, it was listed as the best narrative short was a documentary, and the best documentary short was a narrative, which was my film. And he solved it, but maybe I'm old school. Like until I know for sure, I wasn't gonna allow myself to be excited. So even though Zach figured it out, even though my team was like, listen, they're not gonna take away the award, the first like 3-4 hours, I was probably just nervous and anxious. And then I emailed Virginia, called them twice, didn't get through to them. And so I saw that they were posting the winners on their story, so I DM'd them and I was just like, hey, I'm the director of Irma. I saw that you guys announced the winners. It says documentary short, but we're a narrative. I just wanted to make sure, like, this is all good. Like, hour or two passes by, and they took down the post and they reposted it, and it said Irma best narrative short. And then I finally let myself feel. Then I finally let myself feel good. In the initial moment when I found out we won, I don't know how to describe that feeling. It wasn't so much happiness or like joy. It was like, oh, thank God. Like relief, I think is the word I'm looking for. And when I woke up this morning, I felt more joy. But I think why it felt like relief is man, myself and the. I mean, I know I do this all the time on the channel, but I'm trying to be honest about my journey and what I'm going through. So one day somebody looks at this and they understand like what it takes. But the Irma team and myself, specifically myself, have been busting my fucking ass for our film, life, trying to survive, etc. And I'm not quite burnt out yet, but I'm getting there. Like I feel it. But just 2 weeks ago, I was in Virginia, worked the weekend, landed right back to work. Shot a fight scene with Joelle. This past weekend, edited the trailer for Irma that's due for the next festival. We're working on the EPK, working on the soundtrack. And then Virginia announces something. It was like, gotta post, gotta edit the blogs, gotta go to work, gotta work out, gotta make sure I'm living, breathing, shitting, sleeping. like, like, I was so tired that I think like my ability to feel joy and excitement wasn't quite there, and it was more so like a feeling of relief. Like I was so tired that when I was finally able to relax and think, oh, we won, it was like, thank God, like a good piece of news because I was just so tired. But this morning when I woke up, I think the Laurel was the first thing I looked at as a best narrative short audience award winner. And I was walking to work this morning, and as cheesy as it sounds, I just looked up at the sky and I was like, thank you, God. Like, in that moment, I felt so much joy. And maybe it was because I had a good night of rest. I woke up, my emotions were able to sit. I was able to think about it a little bit, and I felt so good. Like I was going to walk into work with a smile, and yeah, like I don't. I guess I'm just grateful that I went because initially I wasn't gonna go to the Virginia Film Festival. Full transparency, like I think most of the times the festivals only fly out people who are working on feature films, and of course I'll go to any LA ones, any New York ones because I have homes in both. So like all I gotta do is pay for the flight. But Virginia, I mean, I have family in Virginia. Obviously, they pulled up to the festival, but they're like a 2-3 hour drive away from Charlottesville. So for the festival, I had to stay in a hotel, and that just adds up financially. And I didn't know if I could do it. But at my gym, one of my clients is an ex producer, and well, he still produces things, but he's just not super active anymore. Um, he knew about the Virginia Film Festival, and I told him I got in, and he was like, "Listen, if you don't go, you would be stupid." He said, "You absolutely have to go. Virginia's fantastic. They curate very well, um, etc. All those things." And when a guy who's made it in the industry, a very successful producer, tells you, "Look, you are dumb if you don't do this." I was like, regardless of the financial risk, regardless of like just adding another big thing to my plate, even though it's a good thing, it was just it's more work, it's more travel. I was like, if he's saying I gotta go, I gotta go. And when I was there, I enjoyed myself. Family was there, obviously. I love that. And then, I keep thinking back to the Q&A of, I said in the last vlog, but I always put pressure on myself to deliver. And it was such a blessing in disguise that I got there. Not shitting on any other filmmakers, but I was there and I was the only filmmaker there. That's why the Q&A was just specifically for me because nobody else was there. So I got my own little Q&A. And when the spotlight was on me, I put a lot of pressure on myself to deliver and try to be memorable and say something and have fun with the audience. And I think I did that. And I think ultimately, I'm not saying, I mean, Irma's a great film. I'm pretty sure they like the film, but I think that Q&A was able to help sway the audience towards me. So not only did they like Irma, but I think they just liked me as a director. And my lead, well, one of my leads, Christina, who plays Irma in the film, she was a producer as well. She's done festivals and all those things. And she told me this before I went to Virginia. She says, going to these festivals is a great way to help your case for the audience award or the program award, whatever, because showing your face, you're present in their mind, you're making an impact on them right in front of them, not just the film, but you as a director, producer, whatever. And so it'll help you win these things if you're able to get there. So she told me, if you have the means, if you got a pinch, you got to sleep in a car or whatever, if you're invited to one of these festivals and they're good, you got to go no matter what. And obviously, hearing that is cool. But then when it comes down to nickel and diming and trying to plan it out, it's a little scary. Um, so going to Virginia, I was like, look, I'm about to take a hit financially. Like, it just is what it is. Luckily, my mom helped me out a little bit. Um, but now in hindsight, like, all that fear and anxiety was like, I mean, I can't say I'm just so glad that I went. I'm so glad that I had people in my life that got my head out of my ass and told me to go and make me realize how important of an opportunity this was because, I mean, we fucking won. And we're listed on IndieWire and CBS and the festival. And, we got New York coming up soon. So there's a lot of momentum going on now. And, I'm trying to be present and enjoy it. It's a little tough because as we're preparing for the New York Festival, there's a lot of work to do. But at the same time, like, perspective matters so much. Like, a year ago, when we were working on Irma, if you had took me from 2023 when I was writing and directing and making the film happen, and you told that guy, look, you're gonna be shortlisted for the Academy Awards, Student Academy Awards, You're going to get into a couple festivals. You're going to win one. You're going to get to go home and premiere your film in front of family and friends at a great festival. That dude would have been like fucking like jumping through the sky. Like he would have been so excited. But me right now having to do all the work, it's not that I'm not excited, but I feel like the fatigue from having to do all these things, I feel like my capacity to feel excitement is a little bit shortened. Um, and I think that's where perspective comes in, always trying to ground yourself and realize, yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, life is a little tough right now. Yeah, I'm tired, but I used to pray for these things. Like I would have begged for these opportunities, and I have them now. And like, yes, the short film is doing well, but nobody's gonna make a career just off a short film. I got to start writing. I got to start doing more. I got to get myself out there more. I got to go even harder at marketing this film, because when my 15 minutes is up, I need the next project lined up so that I can get my career to where I want it to be, which is making features, making video games, shows, whatever, anything. And it was already a conversation I was having with myself, but it became even more concrete after the win. It's funny. I've mentioned this balance a little bit in the previous vlogs, but I'm seeing it more so now, where it was like, fucking Joel. I'm just thinking about Joel. I love being a trainer. I love working out. I love bodybuilding, but nothing makes my heart sing like making films, making media, making these vlogs, like putting it out there for people and seeing how people respond to it. And a big dissonance I've been feeling in my life, not unhappiness, just a little bit like there's something missing. I realize now that's coming because I'm not doing this to the capacity I would like to. Like obviously everybody wants, and especially in Los Angeles, everybody wants filmmaking, acting, working on shows, whatever, to be their full-time job, but we're all not in the position to really be doing that. But for me, because I'm using training as a meaning to survive financially and make sure I can do this, like 80-90% of my time is allocated to that. And then it's like squeezing any energy I have out of myself to do my vlogs, to be on set, to write, etc. And already before Virginia happened, I was thinking like, yo, I gotta pull back. Like you could hear it in my voice right now. Like I'm fucking exhausted. And that's not the conditions I can succeed in. Like if I want to do this and be the best at what I do, or just be the best that I can be, I need more time. I need more energy. And that means I can't have my hand in so many cookie jars right now. Like right now I got my hand in like 7 things and I'm doing everything at like 20% capacity. But when I made Irma, obviously these conditions can never really happen again. But when I was in film school and I'm making Irma, I had a part-time job, and then the rest of my time was dedicated to just making Irma the best film that I can, which is like 90% of my energy. 90% of my time was going into that film. Now I'm working a full-time job. I have private clients. I work on set. I'm doing these vlogs. I work out myself. I'm trying to train. I'm trying to make sure Irma's doing well in festivals. Life responsibilities, friends, relationships. And then in that last 4 or 5% of myself, I'm telling myself, oh, you got to plan the next feature. But when I get there to the opportunity to write or try to make something, I'm fucking tired. And that's not a condition in which I can succeed in. Because right now I have all these other things that are taking priority, and then it's making the next thing, making the next move. And like, as good as I am, I'm confident I'm gonna do well in this industry. But I can't do that if making the next thing and making sure I'm developing as a filmmaker, as an artist, whatever, is so low on my totem pole. Like, even though it's a financial risk, even though it's a little daunting and scary, that has to come from here to like right here, like number 1 or number 2. And so I even before Virginia, I had that feeling in my gut, like, yo, I gotta pull back. I gotta put more energy and time into making the next thing. And then we won. And then it was like, shit, I can do this. Like I can do this. Like I felt that with the academy thing. I felt that, when some people saw Irma and I saw how I moved them. But after winning and something like that, like seeing my grandmother's name in IndieWire and seeing Best Narrative Short, I was like, shit, I can do this. But I don't want to just do this one time. I want to do it for the rest of my life. But the only way I can do that for the rest of my life is I have to work at this for the rest of my life. And right now, just being transparent, I haven't been doing that to the capacity that I want, and second, that's necessary to succeed. But that step has to be taken. I feel it in my gut, and like, yeah, it sounds so cliche, but like, I trust my gut like it's biblical. It told me to do Irma. It told me to do these vlogs. It told me to do anything good for my life has come from me listening to my gut, and it has always led me towards something terrifying. With Irma, initially, when I pitched Irma, not a lot of people referred the idea. I haven't talked about this on the channel, but originally I did Irma as an even shorter film my first year at Chapman, and it was okay. I think I did good for the time, but I always knew in my gut after making that film that I had not quite touched what I wanted to say or what I knew that film could be. And so when I pitched it again, my third year at Chapman, the first person I pitched it to was my DP Oni. And even though Oni loves me and trusts me, and like we're gonna work together many more times in this life, she told me, she's like, I'm not sure. Like the person that trusts me and works together with me, amazingly, told me I'm not sure when she heard the idea. And that was a little bit of a gut punch, but I knew, I knew this is it. And look where I am now. But yeah, initially Irma was met with a little bit of resistance. But I was right. Like I had a feeling. Same thing with these vlogs. When I did the first vlog back in July, I was nervous. I didn't think it was gonna be that good. But like I have this feeling like, yeah, I have to share. Like I just know I have to put myself out there. Like I can't tell you why, but I know I feel like I got something to say. And now I'm doing them pretty regularly. I enjoy them. I look forward to doing them. It's added so much joy to my life. It's like I feel like a filmmaker again, even though I'm doing vlogs. Like it's helped me stay connected to that part of myself that makes me feel the most like myself. And I wouldn't have that if I didn't have the balls to put myself out there. Like my gut has always led me to do things that's scary, but it's right. And right now, it's telling me you gotta pull back. You gotta pull back at all this other shit you're doing, and you gotta go all in on this one thing. And just like talking about that, I feel a little bit emotional and scared, but like the euphoria I have felt pursuing these things, the damn, I'm falling asleep on camera. This is probably gonna be the most boring video. But this is my life. I don't feel like talking anymore. I don't feel like it. But I guess I'll close with saying a couple more vlogs coming very... My brain is shutting down. A couple more vlogs coming very soon. Irma news coming very soon. New York Festival coming very soon. Your boy is out here busting his fucking ass. And I can't wait to share it all. But right now, I'm gonna knock the fuck out.